what's up, y'all? It's your girl Apollonia Cross, and today on Planet Chat, I am going to be having a special guest speaker, Tirra, come on, who is a spiritual life coach, speak to us and give us some wisdom on mompreneurship and what it's like from her experience. She is a mom of two, and she's homeschooled and also run businesses. So I'm so excited to have her come on for today's topic, which is how to go all in your business and still maintain your peace. And with all that's been going on these past couple of years, I'm sure every single one of us can use some advice from those who have gone before us with their families while we are the ones in the thick of the chaos. So Tirra, if you can just share a little bit more about yourself and share a little bit of your background.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me here, Apollonia. I am so excited to be here because, yes, like you said, I have recently entered into empty nesterhood. And so I miss talking about all things mom. And I'm so excited to share my experience with your audience. So yeah, I've been married to my husband. This year is 27 years that we've been married, and we have two sons. One is 21. He's at the United States Coast Guard Academy, and the other one is 18, and he recently started at a state school here in Tennessee. And yeah, for the last 21 years, that's been my main title, mom, because wanted to, or when it was time for me to go to school, I was like, hey, I want to homeschool. In my time as a La Leche League leader and going to all of the, what do y'all call them? The play groups.
Mm-hmm.
And going to the library with my children, I would see these older kids and I'm like, they don't go to school. And I don't know, it was just something about that lifestyle that made me feel like I really want to homeschool my children. Um, I've always been one who is like, I need to really do my part to protect my children, having brown boys, making sure they stay intact, that nothing, messes with them or takes them outside of themselves for no real reason. And that was another motivating factor for me to homeschool, along with right around the time that my older son was going to go to school is when we started hearing quite a bit about these mass shootings at schools. Yeah, he's born in 2000. Never heard anything like that before. That was just like unheard of. And I was just like, not sure about that, So I just became very resolute, want to, be a mom and homeschool my kids. And what ended up happening was this dream that I always had ever since I was a little girl. I wanted to have my own business. And so I decided, okay, well, I'm going to have a childbirthing education business. I went through natural childbirth and I loved my childbirth education teacher. And I decided, okay, well, I have a childbirth education business too. So this is when my younger son was like 1 or whatever. But always looking to, I'm college educated and just always knew I was going to have a career, but then things turned and I just really wanted to be a mom full time. But I never sort of lost this drive for like being a leader and having this dream of doing something that's unique unto myself. And so I've had network marketing businesses, wanted to make extra money. I'm just unapologetic about that. I want to make some money. I like making money. Making money is fun.
Right.
And, I guess being more of a modern day woman, even though I did eventually get very used to my husband being the one who makes the money and we all live off of his money, I always still just sort of feel like, well, I just want to make a contribution or whatever. So I've tried all kinds of businesses. Like I said, childbirth education, network marketing. And eventually I just got real with myself. Spiritually, I always say a little bit different, maybe different from the people who I was raised up in a Christian home. I always just had a different concept of God. And after my mom died, it just really called me to explore what is this that's calling me. And I kind of felt like it was the wisdom of my ancestors. And so what ended up happening on that journey was there's a quality that I've always had, which is I'm wise. I was always told as a child, you're very wise, even though I I'm very gullible at times, and I have this innocence about me, especially as a kid. I always just could see things in a way where people were like, "Wow, that just really helped me out. Thank you." And so I started going with my gift of doing readings for people. And as I started doing readings, I began to realize actually I like coaching. Like I love sharing wisdom, using ancient wisdom. And I like helping people come up like with real practical solutions. I don't like just doing readings like, hey, I see this person is going to show up. Don't knock it, but that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
And so my oldest son graduated and went off to college. And about 2 years before my younger son was to graduate from high school, I was like, I'm launching a business. I'm launching a business because when he finishes, I am not going to go get a job if I can help it. And so that put me on this journey of creating a membership site. Some days I have so many regrets, but it's what has made me fight, scratch, and claw to stay in business. And I really couldn't go all in until he actually was dropped off at college, because I always just told myself, I focus on my kids being at home. They're going to grow up. They're going to leave. I want no regrets. Let me go all in with this. But I always did dabble over here. And so I have spent since 2019 up until August of this year, 2021, working on who am I as a business owner? What am I going to do when he finishes? And so that's where I am right now, is understanding empty nesterhood, because it is not, you just arrive and you just free. It's not that way, contrary to popular belief, as well as like, what am I really going to do for business? So that's a little bit about who I am.
Well, thank you for sharing. And that is a lot. That is like, and I love that you talked about that, because there's so many different phases of motherhood and the different stages that we're in different seasons. And that's what I really help people understand in my coaching, is getting people to understand and recognize the season of life that they're in, and then creating a healthy and balanced lifestyle around that. It's because it's always going to change. So you got to figure that out. But I really love that how you said, for you, going all in, you went all in as a mom first. And then for you mentally, it went and switched to, okay, now I'm going into my business. Because for you could not try to juggle both for you mentally, right?
Yeah.
So, and I do completely understand that, because I feel like a lot of us inside really do struggle with, no, I'm a mom, but no, I have my calling. I want to help women do this. I want to have my own business and blah, blah. And we struggle with this identity of being in one body, but being two different people. And that causes the anxiety, it causes the depression and the loss of identity and confusion that a lot of us go through, and the regrets. So for you, especially because now that, this is like still in COVID times for the most part, and our generation, or my generation, is in the realm of literally having to choose our careers or having to step home from our families, because we're at the mercy of whatever the public school system or physical in-person school is allowing. So we're really having to really figure it out, and it's tough. So for someone who is really needing and wanting to go all in their business because they are passionate and they really want to strive in their business and also be able to provide that income, but they also want to be present for their kids, but they're feeling like, I'm about to just flip out. What would be your best advice Ooh, I'm here because my daughter. What would be your best advice that you would give to a mom like that?
Very good question. Number one, I think it's so important for moms to make sure that they only compare themselves when we're thinking about business to other moms who are like them, not other moms who are like them. Because there are some women whose husbands say, I'm all in this with you. What can I do to help you? If you do not have someone who you're all in with, or maybe a parent who's going to help you with your children, where you can completely and totally unplug, focus on your kid or focus on the business, and you know your, then you know that then you cannot compare yourself to all moms. You want to make sure that you are don't compare yourself to women who are like me. You know, I'm in some business groups, and there are some moms who are like, I wish I could spend more time working on my business. I see other people, you know, moving faster than me. You know, sometimes we don't all the time know people's stories. We don't know how long they've been working on their business. We don't have all the information. And so if we don't have all the information, we cannot compare ourselves to that person. But moms like you can't compare yourself to a mom like me. I have no children in the house whatsoever. It's just me and my husband and my dog. Okay. I can work on my business 24 hours a day if I wanted to. You cannot. And when I had children here at the house, I could not. And so my thought was, as I oftentimes felt torn and struggled. So let me just put it on pause real quickly and say, I honor you moms who are momming it, yes, during COVID. She agrees with me. She knows y'all are like the real MVPs. I did not have to be a mom. I mean, my older son was around during COVID, you know, still at home, but he was 17. It's very different. It's very
different. When
yeah, I'm not a true COVID mom. And so I honor you all, and I want you to grant yourself some grace, because you're having to not only navigate being a mom and having a business, you're also having to navigate this uncharted territory of momming it during a pandemic. It's just like nobody, this is one of the criticisms I have. So I'm going to challenge all of you to write out your journey. What advice would you give to the moms who are going to come behind you? Put it somewhere on the interwebs, I should say, so that they can find you if they have to go through this, and they don't have, it won't be so hard, because the Spanish flu, they didn't leave any documentation for y'all. So, you know, you really do have to grant yourself a lot of grace. Now, the other thing that I decided a very long time ago, because my mom died when I was 27, it shaped how I was a mom. I said to myself, I don't know how long I get to be here. I don't know. And so I'm all in as a mom, because what if I die before my kids become adults, which I've had that happen this last year. I've had friends who died and they have children who are minor children. Or when my mother died, she has so many regrets. And so I said, I want to die with zero regrets. And some of her regrets were how she related to her children, though we have no recollection of her being a bad mom. It was something that she had to come to terms with. And it made me just say, no regret momming it. I'm all in. You know, and every day was not easy. As perfect as people make my children out to be, it was hard as hell some days to be a mom. But I just said, I'm all in. I mean, I love the good times and I love the bad times. And the extra added, well, first of all, I was a mom. If there's moms out there who don't have a lot of support, you have to always see everything I'm describing, or everything you have to take into account as to how you're going to work on your business. So I, as an African-American woman in the early 2000s, was not the norm for homeschooling. The majority of my friends, their kids went to school, or not even homeschooling, staying at home. Did not have very many friends at all do that. I had to go make a community. I was always like the older mom with the younger kids, hanging out with the little 20 somethings or whatever. And so,
I actually love that you acknowledge, like, as an African American mom, because it's legit. It's a whole. It's not a lot of girls, women that look like us who are
it's still the same way.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. Yeah. Most of the mompreneurs that I know, they're all online, and majority are from the South. Here, I'm in California. It is not very common to find like moms like me. Most of them are Caucasian. You know, and it's not that it's a bad thing, because I'm cool with everybody.
Yeah.
The majority is Caucasian, to whereas for women like us, it's like, no, I gotta have me a job, I gotta have me a hustle, which that mentality, right? It's you know, whether you are working full-time job or you're a stay-at-home mom, the mindset is the same. I don't know if that's a cultural thing. I'm sure it is, but it's like, no, I need something. I gotta hustle. I gotta do something.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, Apollonia, that I figured out, and that is, I believe for a lot of African American women, we don't all the time appreciate that it's really okay just to be sort of chill. It's like we haven't always had this opportunity. And unless you really are with somebody who you can allow yourself to be vulnerable with enough to just be like, okay, so we're divvying up responsibility, because I'm not into the hierarchy. I just am not. My psyche cannot take it. And I was raised up in the time with the hierarchy of the man is the leader. And I honor women who, you know, this is the paradigm. But for me, I look at it as I'm divvying stuff up. Okay. Right.
You and me,
your responsibility.
On the same page. Like,
okay, good.
No, because that's always been a struggle. My husband would
figure that
kind of grew up a little more old school, traditional. So he's a lot of the conversations. No, I'm the man. I'm supposed to carry this. I'm like, look.
Yeah.
It's in trouble. Yeah.
But it's good to know though, if he's like, let me pay these bills and stuff like that, because all of your ashe is what I call it, your life force is your currency. Your currency is mom in it, okay? And his currency is dad in it, but also part of that is bringing in the cash and paying for the house. So it's like, okay, cool. We're going to divide up, you know, the responsibility. And, you know, he's going to go on ahead and take care of this. If you have a husband who does that or a partner who does that, then it makes it so much easier to just sort of soften down and be okay with understanding that being somebody who stays at home, you are actually in a power position. You are very powerful. And that was some of the mental work I had to do for myself, is to accept I'm actually very powerful when I stay at home, because I am in charge of my time. Yeah, my kids are in charge of my time a little bit too, but honestly, I shape our day. I shape my life, you know, and we can take this time. So how do you become a mom who's all into her business? When you have those moments, when you're nursing your baby, tell yourself you're going to do something that is about learning about business or personal development. That is something I began to do. I remember just thinking, I am so bored washing dishes. I like cleaning up the house. It used to just make me so angry, because I'm like, I'm educated, I'm smart, and all I do is nurse and change stinky diapers, and nobody thanks me for that. And then I cook, and then I clean, and then, you know.
And then it repeats every 2.5 hours.
Exactly. And then one of my teachers, she helped me to begin to embrace that time. She said, you know what you remind me of? She said, the Karate Kid, when he was learning wax on, wax off, you know, stroke it up or up, down. I don't even remember all the terminology, but I was like, huh. She said, during those times, what I want you to do is I want you to take those times and turn them into spiritual times, turn them into personal development. And so it became, every time it was time for me to wash the dishes, I was so excited, because I knew I was listening to something that was going to help me either internally put myself in a position to have a thriving business when it was time, or I would learn a new skill. So one of the things I learned while my children were still, being homeschooled, which is a lot of responsibility. Homeschooling, oh my gosh, it's so much responsibility. And so what I would do is I train myself. If my kids are doing their schoolwork, then I would turn on Udemy, is a brand that I started, I guess a platform that I started using. And so I learned how to use Canva. I would just turn on the little Canva tutorials. Most of those tutorials are very short. And so I learned how to use Canva. Um, and then other things that I did to build skills, because in my mind, motherhood takes precedence, household never. There's a lot of downtime that we have that we can use, or maybe we get up earlier in the day. We can carve out time that's typically pretty quiet and use it for personal development, working on the business. And so, yes, I learned how to use Canva. Oh, and then the other way that I began to build skills is I did have jobs. And so this is a note that we were talking before we came on. Something I wanted to say is it's very important for more women to own businesses. Now, it may not be the ones who are momming it right now. It may be the ones like me that I'm further down the path, or the ones who, I don't know, they just have it already together and they can hire women. Because what ended up happening was I began to see any job I took as training for when I had my business. It's, I guess, reframing everything. And so I actually worked for a nonprofit. I still work for this nonprofit that was like, you can bring your kids with you. And it's run by a woman who believes in mom and believes in children. And she was a mom, she had children. And so I always could bring my kids to school with me. To work with me. And let's say it's a nonprofit that promotes arts. And nobody in the nonprofit knew how to do social media. Well, I told you I took that Canva course. And so I started learning how to do social media, to the point where now I've transitioned out of teaching dance and fitness, which is what I was doing, into doing the social media for the nonprofit. It's like I just aided my own position just by learning how to use Canva. And what I was doing at the time was I was teaching fitness classes, Zumba classes. And so I use that as, even though they paid me, which I love that, pay me as a mom, because I don't want to have to depend on if I'm going to get paid or not as a mom some days. Even though they paid me, I always treated every job, every class, like it was my business. So it's like assuming some of these qualities and traits through our day-to-day. Or let's say Cub Scouts, I was a Cub Scout master, or La Leche League leader. I always took the opportunity to see, what is this developing in me? And so I developed my leadership skills. With Zumba, I learned how to work with the public, because, sometimes with moms, we just sit around chit-chatting, talking. But when I walked into that Zumba class, I would become a host. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome. I began to develop charisma.
Yeah, I was going to say that persona.
The persona, yeah. So that once I started doing YouTube videos, I was comfortable being in front of the camera.
Right.
Just so many skills that we can develop. And I think when we develop skills as mompreneurs who are in the throes of raising their children, skills can be picked up easily. And then you just figure out, how can you use them? How can you use them? And then after a while, like once I showed up, I was like, okay, I don't have a whole lot to learn. There's maybe some extra stuff I have to learn about business, but it was like a lot of stuff I already knew, and I could just kind of catch on quickly. And so I think that it's very important for moms to accept, if this is the path that you have taken, just be okay with it. Acceptance, one of the things we talk about in the mindfulness community, is acceptance puts you in a position where you actually can do something about it. And so once I began to just accept, I'm just in the throes of motherhood. But every mom I know, at some point they grow up and they leave, and they aren't in the throes of motherhood. I know I'm going to get there, but while I'm here, I'm all in. And when they are not talking to me, or sometimes I might just be like, be quiet, I'm taking my Canva course, okay? Then That's when I was all in. All in means that 5 minutes I had to take that class, I was all in. I wasn't thinking like, well, I wish I could, it's so much easier if I didn't have to do this and I didn't have to do that. And I could just move so much faster. Maybe, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, maybe not. But while you're there, just be all in on what you can do,
Right.
and just be careful to not compare yourself to other moms or women or entrepreneurs in general who don't have little children at home. And, whatever the relationship is with the spouse, if the spouse isn't all in, you can't compare yourself to that person. I don't listen to her stuff. I've really never looked at anything, but I think it's Brene Brown who talks about,
Talk a lot
comparison
about a
is the thief
vulnerable.
of all joy. It's true. Don't compare yourself to anybody. And the last thing I'm going to say, and you can, tell me where you want to go next, is being on this side of motherhood, I wouldn't take nothing for my journey. It is not easy. Once they leave, our identity is so wrapped up in them, whether we fight to not have our identity wrapped up, like you and I were talking about before. And I was saying, I think it's important for moms to label themselves. I'm a mompreneur. I'm whatever label you need to put on yourself. But I remember back in the day, we talked about moms being activists, like in between nap time, when our kids are napping, we're being activists or whatever. And so I think it's very important to put these labels, but at the end of the day, and it's not well talked about, because I'm like, nobody saw fit to tell me about this. Okay, as usual, I got to figure it out and then let everybody know. Being an empty nester, it's a mind trip. It's a mind trip. And I miss my kids. I've cried. And, it's just some days that I'm just sitting here like, I don't know who I am right now. I have no idea, because you have to remake yourself. You don't just come out and just like, okay, I'm this fly entrepreneur. I thought I was going to do that. Not so much. It's been so many people when I go into my business classes or coaching programs, and they're just like, you really just need to cry. You really just need to be okay with being sad.
I love that you said that. I love that, because we think women who are like me, we got the littles, and we're just like, we're keeping it in. And then people are like, you just need to cry, because we keep thinking, like you said, like it's so much easier, which in a sense it's easier on one end, but it's not. And just like when we first becomes moms, there is the complete identity loss.
Oh yeah.
Because especially if, like you said, you had a degree, if you have a corporate job and you're in this leadership role and everything, and you already have these stats, the moment you become a mom and you have the child that you have to take care of, and those decisions, you have to start choosing between you or your family and your job, because they don't expect the man to really do that. There are going to be certain things they do have to, but when it really comes down to taking care of the kids, whenever the kid gets sick or something like that, or with, we're talking on COVID now, having to choose if you're going to get your child vaccinated so you can continue to work and they can continue to go to school, or if you're going to make the best decision based off of what your child wants and quit your job and go full homeschool. That is a very, very big and very difficult decision. But those decisions and those struggles are what we have to burden. Our husbands don't really do that. Or even if you're a single man, I couldn't even imagine if you were a single mom and you had that financial burden on top. I'm blessed to say that is not my situation. Mine is a little similar, more to yours. Yeah. But like you said, what we were talking about culturally for us is for African American women to fully be able to trust your spouse and be, completely vulnerable and let that go. It is not easy, y'all. Oh, Lord Jesus, it is not easy.
It's not
at all, because
I had to have my mother-in-law kind of talk to me. She was a stay-at-home mom for a little while. And she was like, y'all gonna be fine. You know, they need to lower the prices downtown. You know, that's how old folk be talking.
Mm,
They need to just lower the prices downtown. So we used to do it, you know, it's just like that the world is making it way too hard. But she said, you just got to do it. You just got to go for it. Y'all gonna figure it out. And I was like, yes, ma'am.
right, right. Because it really is. It makes things, and I think too, because of today's day and age, we see, you guys didn't have to deal with social media like we do. And so it's constantly in our face with these women having these extremely successful businesses. They have the young kids, the perfect pictures, clean house. Every room seems to be clean in their feed. And we know the truth is that section of her room was clean for that picture, and then it got tore up again.
Yeah.
So, but it is very, very difficult not to get in the comparison and wish you could be, all in like how she is, and her husband was more supportive this way. You have more time to focus on the business. If you focused all in on the business, then, all your financial situation would change, which is true. However, there are differences. Like you said, it's a mindset shift, as well as it is a self-awareness, because you have to understand your current situation, acknowledge what is all in to you and that you can do right now.
Yeah.
And respect the boundaries of your family lifestyle.
Yeah.
Just like you said, like for me too, when I'm cleaning, girl. So real life story, this a little bit off the tangent, but not really. So woke up at 1:42, baby was crying. I was going to let her cry her out, but my husband lovingly brought here's mama. And I'm like, okay. So I woke up, tend to the baby, put her back to sleep. And I typically try to wake up at 3:00 in the morning to start my day and get my time. I was too tired. I went back to sleep for another hour, woke up at 4 something. I did brush my teeth, but then I went straight downstairs to make my husband's lunch, clean up the kitchen, finish putting and I've been awake. Now it's almost noon Pacific time. So I've been awake 6 hours, and that was with broken sleep and straight into wake up and mom. But like you said, in the spurts of it, while I was washing dishes, I was getting my mind right, playing gospel music, in the car, listen to a training that I'm doing, because all in is choosing to put in as much effort and time on the key priority things that are going to help me grow and build my business where I need it to be, not just scrolling through social media, not just doing all these, though those do happen. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, because sometimes I just need a mental dumb break, because
I agree.
And that's okay. But going all in your business is going to mean different for everyone.
Yes.
And so for me, in the season that I'm in right now, it is in growing and developing, because I have 4 kids. I have 2 under the age of 4 and 2 older ones. So and my husband is law enforcement, working 12. He got ordered on Sunday. He got ordered to work an 18-hour shift. His shift is 18 hours, not when he has to wake up and commute. So it feels like, nowhere near am I a single mom, but it definitely feels like it, because I'm literally having to do everything, but I am also trying to grow my business. So it does take a very conscious mindset shift to say, I am all in my business, and I'm choosing to use what time I do have to focus on the key activities that are going to elevate me and my brand and my business, because I may not necessarily be able to take on a bunch of clients right now, dedicate the hours into doing big launches and constantly going live and all of those things. But what can I do? What is
exactly
my power that I can do on these little key things that are going to be the most beneficial for me?
It's true.
While I have my children, because I don't have just a dog who I can just give a bone or something to chill. Like I got,
it's very different.
You guys didn't get to see, I had to breastfeed my child. She fell asleep in my lap. Like those are all the things that are very different. And you have to be okay with the difference. And it's definitely a challenge. It's a lot of growth, and it's a lot of, like you said, there is a period where you do have to cut everything out and just work on you, because you have to. But I think that's the biggest thing, is recognizing where you're at right now and focusing more on what you can do with where you are currently at, and go all in those things. If you got to shut off any and other, like you said, shut off any other mompreneur who is not like you and is making you feel some type of way because they have what you don't have, and blah, blah, blah. If it's causing any disturbance in you, cut it off. Like, it's got to
cut it off.
Yeah, it's got to go, because we can't, especially when we have so much taxing on us already, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. We got to cut some things off.
And the other thing that you don't know is, okay, so it wasn't until I started coming into the business spaces with having one son at home who's very easygoing, and it's just very low maintenance when you have one, you know, and he's not, at the time, he just wasn't super active, and the last part of his junior year and all of his senior year was during COVID. So it wasn't like thousands of activities that we had to do. And so I started coming in, and I was like, okay, first of all, these moms don't realize how good they're doing. So one of the things I do want to say is, every week moms should take time to celebrate, what did you achieve? What did you accomplish? Because it's very easy to think you're not accomplishing anything. The other thing is, I show up to the meetings. Look, I showed up to this meeting today, just like, ho-hum, hey girl, how you doing? Just like, okay, it's my time. I get to show up. Okay, I'm here. What did you do? Now I still do some stuff around the house because me and my husband are here, but that was hours ago. That was hours ago. You're like, okay, I gotta set it up. Okay, here's the baby. Can you hear the thing in the notepad? Like, I'm like, can y'all not see you, the real MVP, showing up to these business meetings and these business calls? Can you not see that? No, you cannot. Because you see me show up and I'm just like calm. I don't have anything going on. I'm just sitting here. I'm just listening. I'm taking my notes, and then I'm gonna spend 3-4 hours if I want to after I get off, not realizing for somebody to have the courage to come onto a business call or to listen to a live stream or whatever it is with a baby on the boob, other kids running around. You got to go pick the kids up. If you're homeschooling, did the kids get out of homeschool done today? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is amazing to be able to juggle so much. And you and I are on a coaching program together. And one of the things the coach said one time was, she asked us something about parents and entrepreneurship. And one of the things I said was, I don't think parents understand. So I'm going to say, I don't think moms understand just how much momhood prepares you. Hello. For being an entrepreneur.
It really does, because like, you are literally, you're running multiple, like, it feels like you're running multiple businesses, because you are the secretary for your spouse. You are managing all of the things. You are the boss. Like, no, this needs to get up. Like, you are literally, that's exactly what you're doing. We're just not necessarily tangibly getting paid for it yet. So if you take that in a role, especially, I feel like, because for me, I came from a background in retail and management. And so having a team and all that, it was definitely helpful. Yeah. But then I gave, like, I was everything into that. And then when I had to give that up and be everything at home, there was a definite big mindset shift to where I felt like I was nothing, because I didn't have the title. I didn't have the paycheck. But at the same exact time, all the skills, if you take the same mindset that you take from your corporate job or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
whatever type of leadership role you physically had in a title, and you apply that into your role as a mom,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a lot easier. It
Oh,
definitely,
JT, baby, it'll
yeah,
prepare you for that business. And I
yes.
just want to say this real quick because I don't want to forget. This is why I say giving yourself a title is important, like something like mompreneur. Because if you know you're a mompreneur, then you are assuming that position also, like as a mom. And
Mhm.
so, like you said, you're the secretary, you are the boss, you human resources, you're everything. You're the one that puts the schedule together, all the things, maybe some of the moms actually manage the money of the family too.
Mhm.
But the other thing too that I wanted to say, that one of my coaches helped me to embrace about myself, because that's what I said, it's not as easy coming into this space as you think. I would encourage all mompreneurs to be working on their understanding of who and what they are.
Mhm.
Because what she said to me was, I want you to sit down and I want you to add up for all these years that you've been a stay-at-home mom, how much money would you have been paid for all the jobs? She was like, even boil down to cook, housekeeper, all that. I only did homeschooling. I was like, if I was two different teachers, and I lowballed the number, two different teachers, and I think I just used the number 45. So 45 times whatever the number was, K through 12 times two for my kids. So was that 26? It was over $1 million freaking dollars. I was like, what the frick?
Right. And you're like, hold up,
What?
I've been a millionaire this entire time. And
Exactly.
I love that you said that, because if we allowed ourselves to do that calculation and put our worth, because it is not, you're right, in a way, it is a little bit more acceptable to be a stay-at-home mom, just a little bit. But there is still this whole idea of, well, there is still this push and pull to do it and be all, have the successful business, be a mom, homeschool, blah, blah, blah. There is all that. But at the same exact time, there is a lot of value in just allowing yourself to be a mom and allowing yourself to develop and acknowledge that. Because once you can do that, and once you can make that mindset shift, is like, oh no, I am a business owner, I run my family. That's not run your family like to the ground, but no,
No, we know what you mean,
right,
girlfriend.
like I
Yes.
run my family. There are a lot of women who can't do this. They run, either like, nope, I'll just drop my kids off, which I would be one of the ones who I'd prefer to put my kids in daycare. Believe me, I would, because it would be easier, right? It would totally be easier. But let me recognize, like, I money, all it is a tool, but my value and my worth is beyond what any type of dollar amount there is. So,
Okay.
ladies, when we are working on building a business, whether you got an Etsy shop or whether you do have a small product business, or you are a lifestyle and wellness coach like Tirra and myself, when you put that dollar amount, honey, that dollar amount, whatever that dollar amount is, own it. If that is the price, that's the price. Don't feel no shame, especially if you are someone who is doing like high ticket and you are doing like a big, like an 8-week coaching, one-on-one coaching, something like that. Even with your products, if you have a sweater that you custom designed or something, and right, if you custom design that and then somebody's like, oh, I can't get this for $10 because you charge a 60. No,
Everybody knows. Come on now. We're gonna have to educate them. No, custom made, 60 boo. 60.
right, exactly. Because at the end of the day, our financial worth is a reflection of our inner worth. That mindset shift. Yeah. Nowhere near are your paycheck is all that what it says for you. However, if you say, this is what it is, I know what I am doing and what I create and what I am teaching is worth way more than this.
Yeah.
then that's it. Game over. It's okay.
You're saying it so right. You're saying
It's the mindset of accepting, like, this is where I'm at. I know my value, I know my worth. The right person will come into your life and support that dream that you have, that business that you are running, your family. And especially too, I know for me, the biggest fear is I always be coming from corporate, because I got rode up when I had to bring my kids with me to work. Daycare fell through. I'm like, okay, just bring the kids here. I got 2 hours until I'm off. It happened a couple times, but I made it work because that's what we do.
Exactly.
My boss found out and I got a write-up.
Wow.
So when we're in this space of trying to build a business, we struggle with that belief. I can't have my kids with me as I'm growing my business. Honey, this is your business. If people do not respect you and your family, then they don't do business with you. Move on to the next one. And I think, like, that, you're right. That's the biggest thing, because that is a mindset shift. There is a lot of healing that we do have to do in order to get to that mindset shift of self-awareness. This newfound elevated thought of where we are and who we are and who we are too. Like, I know that, you know, for both of us, we kind of talked about this, you know, you were raised in Christian background, but you've gone more into the ancestors side, which is, hey, do you, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm more into Christianity.
That's beautiful.
But it's all supposed to be together, because okay, let's keep it real. You and I have this conversation too. You know, for us, you know, us melanin queens, we talk to the ancestors when we cook. And I made some collard greens this morning. I was talking to the ancestors like, yeah, this about a much pepper. Wait, yep. Granny said, put some more. You know, like, we talk to the ancestors. It's all about your that space where our ancestors are at, that the Holy Spirit within you. Because even if you're, whether you believe more into the ancestors or you are a Christian, your ancestors, their spirits live within that. Use their history, use their life, all of that to remind you of who you are, and say, you know what? I'm not going to let none of this bother me. I am going to own who I am, where I'm at, be in my business, and make it happen for where I am at. And I feel like that is where you find your peace, because you stop worrying about this and that. Because you can get into the metrics and how to grow faster on Instagram and all those things. We all get stuck into it, I feel like. But it's like, hold on, let me cut all this crap off. What is going to be the best thing for me and my business and my family? Because I think that's a lot of the times too, we get so worried about growing so fast, meeting this dollar amount. Not that it's not important. I'm saying it's important, but again, whatever you feed and whatever the foundation is, that's going to determine whether the foundation is strong and you can keep building, or if the foundation is going to crumble. So if the foundation is based off of the fear that you feel, then it's going to crumble. But if you elevate your mindset and say, no, I know my worth. I know where I'm at in my business. I know where I'm at in my family. And this is where I'm at. And this is where I'm going to work with and build. And these are my people. This is that, and blah, blah, blah. And you start living in that. That is when you can maintain your peace.
It's true.
And also still go all in your business, because at the end of the day, it is your business. It is your family. It is your life. Own that. Accept.
It's true.
Get the wisdom from ancestors.
That's right. And one of the things I'll say is, number one, all in is relative to each person. Number two, for me, I said, you know what? My ancestors lived. I come from, like, what we talk about, Africans who were brought over in the transatlantic slave time trade. I must stand up very tall and straight, straight back for what they went through in order for me to be where I am today. Straight up. I know my worth. I know my value, because these people sacrificed their lives. They went through a lot for me to be here. And this is any woman in the world, women, period. have been oppressed. They still oppressed in so many cultures. I stand up with a straight back. And then something else that I wanted to add in too is I began to see, and I feel like this is something that you are talking about. I began to see momhood as a rite of passage. We women have not been properly
Right.
given the rites of passage of life. We're taught the period is a bad thing. That's BS. The tradition that I'm a part of, which is about women's empowerment, we know the power in the womb. We know the power in our menstrual flow. We own it and we cherish it. Like I am that woman who began to realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting ready to have my last period. Wow. I got sad. Once I started thinking, is this the last one? Because it's very rare that I have periods now. I got sad. Most women would be like, ooh, thank you, Jesus. No, I'm not thanking Jesus right now because I realize the power in my womb. Okay. We even think about how Jesus got here was through the power of a woman's womb. We got to honor that. But
Exactly.
we aren't taught proper rites of passages. And this is why so many of us are so confused because let me
Right.
tell you, the ones that's out there that's got jobs, like I said before we came on, the majority of my friends, they did not stay at home. They worked and they were confused. Okay. They were struggling to figure out, how do I cook for my family? How do I show up for my family? And it just began to show me, doesn't matter what side of the tracks I'm on, we're all struggling. We're all trying to figure out this mom thing. Okay. So it's because we haven't been given proper rites of passages that we're so confused. We're not happy. And so we honestly want to set ourselves up for what brings me the most peace in this moment
Mm-hmm.
and what helps me to feel the most empowered. And sometimes the thing that will bring you the most peace is the best thing I can do for my business right now is to sit and watch Udemy and breastfeed my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Or the best thing that I can do for my business right now is I just make a commitment to show up. I may not be making money yet, because let me tell you, just because you don't have children doesn't mean that you're not struggling with making money in your business. It's a lot of us that don't have kids. I'm in so many groups with women, they're not making any money because they're scared to show up. It's always the inner. And so I began to say, how can I feel the most at peace? What makes me feel the most empowered? And I celebrated what I did do that was correct. I was like, today, I was a mompreneur because I learned how to fill in the blank, or I did fill in the blank. Um, and so we can see this as a journey. We can see this as a journey to becoming more of who we were put here to be.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I picked up from one of my La Leche League leaders that I never forgot was the name of a book. I'm one who can hear the name of the book and I'm like, got it. Never read the book, but it's called Stages. And I always reminded myself of that as I would, the years would just, some days it felt like they just drug on. And Apollonia is so crazy. There's so many days I wish I was back to where you are, where you have these babies that make you sit down. Because I would get so tired. I ended up getting adrenal fatigue because I
Mm-hmm.
was just go, 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 teach fitness, go pick up this kid here. My son was really into Taekwondo and just busy, 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 busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I remember when I breastfed, I just sat down and then I had that prolactin or whatever it was that would just make me feel so relaxed. And so, but it became a rite of passage. I think it's very important. And I began to accept this is the stage where I am in life. I am going to leave this stage. It's gonna leave and it won't be here anymore. So I
Mm-hmm.
may as well just be okay with being right here, right now, and make the most of this moment. My mama died when she was 50. And I was always like, if my mama knew at 43, which is when she was first diagnosed with breast cancer, that she was going to die in 7 years, how differently would she have lived her whole life? This is
Mm-hmm.
conversations I had with myself. And it kind of guided me. And I always thought, I'm not promised tomorrow. So all I got is today. This is all I have. And moms think that they're unique, but you're really not. We're really not. We're all trying to figure it out. And one of the best things to do is to stay present in the moment and make the most of the moment that you have right now. Because I can assure you, The future is not what you think it's gonna be. You're still gonna have a lot of stuff to figure out, and so you may as well develop your skills and talents doing that now, versus down the road. And the last thing that I wanted to say that y'all may not understand is it's easier to be a mompreneur today than it's ever been. So y'all mamas out there, I'm going big mama on you right now. I'm gonna need for y'all to be a little bit more grateful. Okay. There was no Etsy. There was no Etsy. Now I'm one who believes sell your wares, sell your, if you're coaching, doing group coaching and stuff like that, that's the better way to go. Create them printables and sell those, on Etsy or wherever folks sell them, whatever. Blog it, have your own stuff. I've tried the network marketing piece. It's good for like developing yourself in a way, but it doesn't really, in my opinion, teach us like what we really need to do. And so, yeah, maybe I leaned more on network marketing because those were my options. I slowly but surely began to see, oh, wait a minute. I want to be an online business owner. This is back in 2006. I was like, I think I want to be an online business owner, because I was just like, it just seems like it's so much easier than I got to go find who's going to buy from me or whatever. And so now social media is designed to help people with business. It seems like it's like back in the day, it was just, oh, I found some people from high school. It was like nothing. It was just so chill. It was just like so easy. But now it's like, shoot, are you going to use Creator Studio, or how are you going to post your stuff? Like these platforms, they care about us and connecting us to people. Whereas before it was like, oh, it was just not so many resources. And so I don't think that a lot of moms nowadays can see how resourced you are. So I would say pick a platform, stick with it, and just post away. Mine was YouTube. Just got on one day, was just momming it, sitting around the house like I'm bored as crap. I was like, but I got this message inside of me. And so I turned on YouTube, and I was just, before YouTube was all serious or whatever, I just turned on YouTube and started making videos, and just have been making videos ever since. And I began to hear messages like, oh, that was exactly what I needed to hear. I was like, okay, cool. Some days I was hot, or some months I was hot, some months I was cold, but I always would come back and just keep making videos. And so eventually I was like, wait a minute, these people are finding my videos on YouTube, and then they go to my website and they order a reading. Interesting. I didn't have all these tools like y'all do. So I didn't have that pressure of like, which one should I use, But I'm telling you, pick one. That's it. Maybe two. So Instagram is my other one, because it's just really good for connecting with people, versus YouTube is not the best. Like if I just want to make a quick post. So Instagram. But I just chose YouTube. And to this day, YouTube is my jam. And I go on, I can go live. I can tell people, hey, I'm doing this. I have a newsletter. I believe so much in newsletters. And so let's just say someone is like, I just really love YouTube. I just really love YouTube. Go find out everything you can about YouTube. Apply it to YouTube. Stop going all these different places, because baby, you got a baby that you're going to have to tend to in the middle of the night. Then you got to go pick the kids up at the school. Then you got to make the dinner. And then who's going to clean? Stay-at-home moms, it's just like, I need a maid, and you feel ridiculous feeling that way, right? I so wish I had gotten a maid. Anywho, the water under the bridge. But we got all this crap to do when we're moms. We have all this stuff to do. So if we choose one platform, hone the message, because half the time we don't even know what our message is. So you got to get on it, and you got to talk and talk and talk, or write the blog. Freaking write the blog, or if you're going to do a newsletter, but pick the one thing and then find all the experts on that one thing and just do that. Because a lot of times entrepreneurs in general feel so scattered. I'm one of them, because we're trying to do all the things, do this, they're all like, you got to do this, you got to do that. Pick one. As a mom, one. You will feel so good about yourself. That's another question I would ask. What makes me feel the best about myself? is when I choose one platform, and that's the only platform I'm on. And I'm feeling so good about it because every year I learn something new and I apply it. And you will, I give you my word, you will see the results. And so at the end of the day, mamas just have to realize you have to operate differently, but not so much. It's this whole movement that's starting about being a relaxed entrepreneur, a supported entrepreneur, incrementally moving your business forward. Because all this craziness that we have going on, this ain't how we weren't meant to be like this. We weren't meant to be relaxed. And when we can trust God, it's like, did God call us to do this, or did God not call us to do it? If we're going to be trusting in God, then let's just do it. Okay, God, you gave me this thought to have this business. All I can do is this today. God's going to be like, well done. Keep just showing up. Keep doing what you're doing. And I'm telling you, it will work. And then when your kids are all gone and grown up and all gone, you can run and be wild and crazy. Go do in-person retreats, do whatever you want, but you'll be so much better prepared if you just pick that one thing and just stick with it year after year, do the personal development, love the babies, love the husband, partner, do all of that, be all into the family, because I've seen so many women, the generation before mine, they were torn. So we're not really taught what it's meant to be women. They were torn. And then they overdo it with the grandkids because
to make up for the kids.
To make up for what they didn't do. I said I wasn't going to be that. My kids know. My mama, she was all in. I'm that mama that they were like, she was always there. She was the mama who, I would let my kids get up and eat cake in the morning. I don't care what you eat. If your stomach hurts, that's going to be on you. I bet it'd be the last time you you want to eat cake or whatever. It's like whatever. I was also like totally okay with, I don't care if I cook every meal. I don't cook every meal. Let's go over here to Publix and get you some food from Publix. Because guess what? I'm not cooking for you. Or I will go buy you some ingredients. I was not a traditional mom. I was not a traditional homeschooler. I was a homeschooler that was just like, and we just showing up, all these mom homeschoolers, they were like, well, just plan this and plan that. And the little curriculum is all this. And they would sort of look at me like, what kind of homeschool are you?
I think that's such a big thing to acknowledge. Like that was all before social media. Now with social media, the idea of perfectionism is like breaking the roof. Because it's thrown at us in our face. So that identity loss of, I don't know what I'm supposed to really do, has like magnified.
And then nobody tells y'all what y'all supposed to do. It's so sad.
And on top of that, there's just the criticism on what we need, why would this isn't working, that's like that. And that's why to maintain your peace as a mompreneur, you were called by God. You were given the gift and told to be a mom. Obviously, when you had kids, that is a gift. Number one, priority. A mother, a wife, those are your priorities. And you were also given a calling.
Okay.
Honor them. But remember the priorities in order. Now, that order is up to you and God. That has to be,
Let me just say real quick, and put yourself up at the top, okay?
Right,
Mama ain't at the bottom of the totem pile.
Right. You got to see, even me, the littlest thing, I brushed my teeth right out of bed when I woke up, like this, the littlest thing, but I made sure to take care of me first, no matter how small it is, no matter how big it is, honor yourself and take it. And I have makeup on. I did my hair. Like I got workout.
You're looking good. You're looking real good.
Right. See, you got the whole TLC vibe. Look at, it's okay. Make it do what feels good for you. Honor where you're at, honor the season that you're in, and live in doing the best that you can right now. That is how you will maintain your peace and build your business.
That's it.
Recognize where you're at, the season of life that you're in, and focus on what you need to do today to help you reach your goals. It's not all of the big things. It's what is the number one thing that you are going to choose today that is within alignment of your calling, your purpose, and your goals. Do it, celebrate it. Take a
Do
little
it and celebrate it,
whatever,
honey.
right? Take whatever little sip you want to chill out and relax, but honor it and celebrate it. Even if you've been so overwhelmed and you are going to, your goal is to take a nap today because it's been a crazy day. Honey, make that nap so memorable. Do right, just light a candle, something, and live in that moment and honor it, because once you're able to, you will be so much more refreshed to keep going the next day.
That is so true.
And so I said we wanted to stay on 45 minutes, but the conversation just got amazing, y'all.
But so I've enjoyed being here. I really have.
And I really appreciate all the wisdom that you gave, because it's like you said, there's not many women who are telling us, who've gone through it, on what to do and how to do. And then what we are seeing right now, we are seeing so much of this perfectionism, and people aren't telling us the truth. They have a ridiculous amount of help. They have a team. They built the business and the foundation before they started the kids. Like, you know, there's so much of that. Or we come to find out the real ugly truth. They end up getting a divorce after they've got the successful business. And I don't know about y'all, but that's not in the realm and life of alignment I'm trying to be in. So I honor and I appreciate you for giving us and sharing your wisdom on that and having this conversation, because it's so important that we do find a way to bring it back and recognize your piece is you. And honoring you and being okay with you at the end of the day. And that's what's so important. And getting that extra encouragement from someone like Tirra reminds us that to keep the hope alive, and that you were doing amazing, boo. You were
doing amazing, boo.
Right? Amazing. You are doing amazing. Celebrate it. Did you comb your hair today? You girl. Right. Clap. Okay. I think we have to be able to be okay with those things. Did you send a message to invite 10 people to your next coaching call or whatever? Did you film a video like right now? While my kids are doing this, this was the one thing I wanted to make sure that I did today in alignment with my goals and for my business and my brand. Honoring it, right? So you have to figure out, again, what we shared in this is what is going to be the number one thing that you are going to focus on. What are you going to cut out? What are you going to prioritize? And how are you going to honor those things and what you have been called to do in your business and your life and your family, and live in that and be okay with that. Now, that is how you focus on building your business and maintaining your peace.
Okay, yeah.
So thank you so much again, Tirra, for coming on. This was awesome. I feel like every time we connect, it's just magic that happens.
Well, I agree. And please invite me back anytime. I have always considered myself to be the mom's mom. And I just want to commend you, because let me tell you, women my age, we're not having these conversations. We're not in the space with moms who have the children. And so it's important for you all to create the forum, bring us in. So bring me in at any time, but I really admire what you're doing. And I love the service that you're providing for other moms. So I just wanted to make sure I gave you your atta girl, okay,
Thank you.
for this amazing work. And yeah, I wish you all the best. Invite me back anytime.
I will definitely. Well, thank you guys so much. If you guys hung out with us for the whole time, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And I hope you guys enjoyed the chat. Now, Tirra, before we head out, just let everybody know how they can connect with you on social and go to your website if they're interested in getting a reading and all of the things.
Yes. Just go to my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com. You can find my YouTube channel there. You can find Instagram. newsletter, how to get a reading, everything is at goddessbodymindspirit.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much again. And I'll also make sure to have all the information and links and stuff posted in the description of this video. So you guys, I hope you have a great day, and let us know down in the comments what you found was that, what out of we talked about stood out the most to you that you are going to take with you going forward in your mompreneurship journey. All right. Thanks again for watching. We'll talk to you guys later.